All right, we'll call the meeting back to order. Welcome everybody back. I have a motion moved by Bev Cutting, seconded by John A. Bell. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Garry hereby returns to open session of Council at 7 p.m. Do we have any comments on that motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. All right. Mark, only that one matter that we went into closed session was the only matter discussed. So we can have the minutes. There's no matters arising from closed session. Comment period. At this point, a little slight wrinkle to the agenda. We started it at the last council meeting. If there's anything that anybody would like to comment that's in the audience on the agenda, now would be the time to jump up. Quickly. Okay. We don't have anything that's arising. Down then, no public meetings. We're down to consent agenda. Excuse me, I have a motion moved by R. Hergud, seconded by Rob Thompson. Be it resolved that items A1 to A3 inclusive contained in Part 1 consent agenda be adopted as printed, and further that authorization be given for the actions to be taken as may be necessary to give effect to the recommendations contained therein. Any questions or comments on anything on the consent? Doug?
Just one correction. Can we make a correction in just one of the statements?
Yep.
On page 14, in our last committee, the whole reports for the Chamber, BIA, and Newstead Business Group, there was a statement in there, Mark, that said that that the Newstead Business Group had written a letter to the county regarding parking on Main Street, but actually I had suggested that they should write a letter, or we had some discussion. I did bring it back and talk to staff about it, but it is a county issue because it's the county road that goes through Newstead. So under the Newstead business minutes there, just make a note that it's going to suggest to the Newstead Business Group in our next meeting, which isn't going to be till August, to write a letter to the county regarding parking on Main Street and see if they can make any corrections or improvements there just because of the issues they're having. Yep. Okay, thank you.
Get the context of that correct. Okay. Any other questions, comments on that? Nobody wants to pull anything. Then we'll put Rebecca, Rob, if you're fine, as amended. Yep. Thank you. Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, we do have a delegation scheduled at 7:30. Durham Girls Alumni Band. So we're a little early on that. So if it would please everybody, we could jump down to the staff reports and we can get into those. The ball game's probably not rained out yet, Carrie? Yes. Okay. Thanks for being here, Ms. Mighton. So we will get to Carrie's. Oh, sorry. Do you want to do that, Doug? Oh, I'm sorry. Communications. Right, sorry. Communications from council members before we get going too quick. Sorry, Carrie. We may have a rain delay on that ball game you might want to get to tonight. Things were going so quickly. My apologies, Council. I jumped through that and went to communications from Mayor and Council. And that, does any one of the Council members or Deputy Mayor have anything to communicate? Mr. Thompson. I got it right sitting here in front of me, too.
Yeah, it's kind of, Councillor Hutchison was getting blamed for that, but I was the one who's in the back door on that. Just want to remind everyone that this Sunday is the Decoration Day at the Durham Cemetery at 2 o'clock. Weather permitting, if it's raining, then we'll hold it at the Town Hall in Durham. So just to remind everyone that it is Decoration Day on Sunday. o'clock.
Thank you very much, Rob. Exactly, 2 o'clock at the cemetery. Anything else? Doug?
Yeah, just a couple items that have passed that were successful. The Horticulture Society had their herb fair on June 9th, and there was a very good turnout there. Lots of booths. I think it continues to grow, and I believe we got a letter from one of our citizens about the success of the Horticulture Society is having putting this on and how it's really grown. So it was a great afternoon and very successful. So congratulations to them. Also, past Saturday, there was Touch the Truck at the arena, and that was very successful. A lot of kids did a lot of climbing all over town, all over the trucks. And if you heard a lot of horns, that's because they all blew the horns all over. For every vehicle, there was a horn that had to be blown. So, anyways, yeah, there was a good turnout for that, and congratulations to all the people that were involved in that. A lot of vehicles, a lot of West Grey vehicles there, and whether it be fire or graders or ambulance or whatever, they were all there to use. So that was great. And one other thing that's coming up, and I'm not sure if anybody else is going to mention it, maybe our CEO, about the Selgin Connects coming up on June 26th, a workshop for business people who are looking for a succession plan or opportunities to pass their business on to new entrepreneurs. So that's coming up at June 26th in Newstead, I believe, at the community center. Yeah. Okay, that's it.
Thanks, Doug. Anything else? Rebecca?
So I'd just like to remind everybody that we're doing the West Grey Economic Development is doing the downtown revitalization survey.
Yep.
As well, Grey County is doing the community well-being survey. All of those are found online. Recolor Grey, last week we were up to the Warden's Breakfast, and there was a review from senior staff about what Grey County is doing and the initiatives that they're working on. And Recolor Grey, the review and the official plan review and so on is going on right now. Also, not sure, we had some participants in the Hawk's Nest, June 13th, and maybe Councillor Hutchison would like to speak to that or give an update or so.
Actually, I didn't make it to there, but maybe our CAO maybe could do that because she was there, or maybe the mayor. I had conflict that night with a recreation meeting.
Well, let's just get this really clear. Yes, the CEO was there. Yes, the mayor was there. Yes, the CEO went by herself, and I was there with my wife. So, okay, just in case, yeah, we'll clear that up. Yeah, and the Economic Development Officer, Kathy Sweeney and Laura were there. Very good. Was there an overall winner? People's Choice. There was a gentleman from Port Elgin, Saugeen Shores, has a personal fitness training center that was the People's Choice winner. I really thought it would have been Coop's Coop. There was a 12-year-old, I see in the media, he was a little 12-year-old gentleman from a private school up at Headwater School up near Heathcote that made a presentation and got some endorsement. Did better than that. He has little urban chicken coops that he is building and selling, supplies the chickens and everything. Didn't get a lot of the investor money into it, but sold two to the investors. Two of the investors bought them, so he was tickled with that. Very good event, well attended, and that is what come out of that. Interesting one, I think, was the Maven project. A lady from out near Lucknow has put it on and put it together. A ladies' wellness, confidence building weekend retreat that she's developed for business mentoring and whatnot. She has one, I heard it advertised coming up in August. It was on the radio the other day again. Had one in May 24, has one in August at Camp Kintail near Godrich. And we'll be having one, was it January or December? January, I guess it was, in Australia. She's internationally taking this, has connections and has done a lot of traveling. So that was fairly interesting. Very generous of the sponsors, of the Angels themselves, and a good way to get the word out there that business entrepreneurship is well supported across the region and especially here in West Grey. So that was very good. Would like to say that yesterday I was out at the Saugeen Airport. The COPA 45, the pilots there, did and at noon, give or take, they were still running it until 2 o'clock, from 10 until 2, free airplane ride for any of the kids. And it was a little, a couple of the pilots said, yeah, there's a little bumpiness up there, but it's not too bad today. There was a few where not 100% when they got back down to the ground, but they enjoyed it. 78 kids by noon, so I'm not sure just how many that they had up in the air total. I didn't hear a total. Saturday at Touch the Truck. Last year at Touch the Truck, we had 300 kids registered, and for the bike rodeo in on the arena floor was well attended. This year we had 480 that were through. So Brent, some of your staff that helped it out, the fire, the police that got it put on. Great educational for our youth. And speaking of education and for our youth, you'll notice that I have this little cross stick here. How does it work, Mark? Yeah. Lacrosse is a very physical game. Last Monday night, there was the opening of the Durham Lacrosse League. Minor lacrosse opened up. I was able to get there. They told me it would take them a while. Composited sticks now, they're not sure about these old wooden sticks, they're not sure about the leather meshing, but they thought that they could remesh it for me. But great for them. And one of the things, so there was 3 games on in the arena, on the lacrosse, stepped out of the arena, and I went down the 3 ball diamonds. All 3 ball diamonds, there was games going on. And across the road, there was, at that time, at 7 o'clock, there was 2 football games, or do we call them soccer here in North America, Doug? Yeah, depending on, yeah, FIFA. So there was 2 soccer games going on the soccer pitch at that time. So a lot of inner activity for kids going forward. On Saturday as well, this past Saturday, I was up to Bruner's Garage in Elmwood. They had a car wash for Make-A-Wish, again, from Crown Rust Proofing, and it was very well attended and good for John and his family to be doing that. Hawk's Nest and a few other things. Lions Club celebrated their, West Grey Durham Lions celebrated their 10th anniversary on June the 9th. With a dinner and awards, so that was very nice. And if anybody wants to see me in the council, I do have 6 tickets left for the Canada Day celebrations, July 1st, at the Ball Diamonds Arena. There's a chicken dinner put on by the West Grey Durham Lions. So I do have some tickets there if you want to go for that as well too. That would be excellent. There's something that I'm missing, but I can't think of what it is right now. So between now, Adam, and by the time we go off air, I'll try and remember it, and I'll bring it to you before that as well too. So a lot of exciting things and a lot of excitement coming, and hopefully out of the truck, or Touch the Truck, that the kids picked up some of the safety issues heading into the summertime here when they get out of school a week from Thursday maybe? Is it Wednesday? Thursday? Yeah, so everybody, the summer is here and everybody's ready to get forward to it, but play safe. Anything else? Very good. Keep yourself in tune. A lot happening as we go forward. Okay. We're at 7:15. Do you want to go to staff reports, Carrie? You're on at 7:30. I'm looking at that, Carrie, and this Carrie.
Business arising.
Okay. Is there any business arising before we go to delegations from the previous meeting? Nope. Very good. Are you expecting a whole lot more of the band to come marching in? Oh, they're practicing. Those that are the champions can step up. We will bump you up. We had you on at 7:30, but if it suits you and you want to get through this little presentation and you can get back to practice for any of the after-practice activities that the girls... Yeah, might happen. Or how this goes. Very good. Carrie Rouse, please, the floor is yours. If you could use the podium to make your little presentation, the microphone's there. I think it's turned on, and just hit the gray button there, Carrie.
Good evening.
There you are.
Thank
Okay,
you.
the floor is yours. Thanks, Carrie. Now you shut it off. How'd you manage to do that?
Just touch it once and
Just touch it
off.
once and keep the
I
hands
thought it
away.
was like a walkie-talkie. Over. So we're asking for two things tonight. Sorry, my name's Carrie Rouse. I'm here on behalf of the Durham Girls Alumni Band. And we have two other delegates tonight. We have Sharon Pegalo, the leader of the band, and Karen Pratt, our secretary treasurer. I'm the chair of the advisory committee for the Durham Girls Alumni Band, and the lucky one to get to talk to you. So tonight, we'd like to ask for an amendment to the bylaw number 71-2014, which is a memo of understanding between the Municipality of West Grey and the Durham Girls Alumni Band. We've had this agreement with West Grey for about 4.5 years. The membership of the band is at a current all-time low, and what we are asking is we'd like to change the name of the band to be more inclusive. Durham Girls has been a historical band name in town, and there must have been more girls in the history of this town, because we're having a rough time drawing new members from this area of only one gender. So we'd like to expand that to all ages and all genders. We dearly want to continue this band. We have use of all these wonderful instruments, thanks to you people. We have all kinds of enthusiastic fans in town. What we do not have is enough members. So we need to change the band name. We'd like to change it to Durham Marching Band. We want to retain the name Durham. We want to keep it simple, and again, all-inclusive. The second thing we want to ask tonight is for permission to hold outdoor practices in various spots in town this summer, just from now until Labor Day. We practice outdoors Monday evenings at the community center now, and we have permission to do so. I believe it's between 6:45 and 8:30 in the evening. So trumpets, drums. There is some noise involved. What we'd like to do, however, is to do that, to hold our outdoor practices, invite people to come and enjoy the practice, participate if they like, try a drum, try to toot a horn, twirl a flag. It's a recruitment activity. So we'd like to hold a practice. They're like a pop-up practice. So we might be Vickers Park one night. A week later, we might be at the town hall. We also have discussed Heritage Walkway Bridge, McGowan Falls, outside of Spruce Ridge School, and And there's another one that I can't find here. Riverside Park, thank you. Oh, and parking lots where we have permission from the owners. McLean's Home Hardware has stepped up and said we're allowed to use their parking lot as long as we're allowed to. So those are the two things we're asking for. We want to amend our agreement to our new band name, and we like to hold outdoor practices this summer in a pop-up all around town sort of way, Monday nights. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much, Carrie. I do believe that there is a bylaw on the agenda this evening to deal with that, and not anybody wants to make a comment on what they think of that idea, one way or the other, but wondered whether there was any other questions that you may entertain or pass off to some of the other executive. Whoop. Okay. John, Mr. Bell.
Thanks, Kerry, for the presentation, to you and the members that you have here with you. Long-standing tradition, as you say, a lot of people I know and older, I'll put it that way, have belonged to the band. It's a great institution. Yeah, if you can't get members, I commend you for stepping outside the box and wanting to make a marching band and get some of the guys to carry the drums so the ladies don't have to. Right
Exactly.
on. So going forward, I wish you well. I really do. I have no problem with it. Wishing you well, and hopefully you can, double your membership. That'd be great.
Thank you.
Okay. Doug?
Yeah, I also congratulate you on your efforts. I think it's important to be inclusive, and so maybe by expanding your members to include males and others, then that would be good. One little concern I have, and I'm just wondering something maybe you are aware of or aren't aware of, when you do practice, we hear it. And I live on top of the hill. When you're practicing at the Durham Arena, I hear you. So I'm just wondering if you consider, to take into consideration smaller children who might have a bedtime. I know my grandchildren go to bed at 7. So you said 8:30 was your latest practice time, 8:30? So even if you were to maybe make that 8 o'clock, I just know that maybe for some, especially if you're going to move around, so you're going to be in other areas where there may be other smaller children, just to consider that. I don't know if you've had any feedback in that area or not, but that was one thing that I've noticed, that it can go later than maybe some, and it might be a problem for some children to go to bed. That's all I thought.
Okay.
Okay. Bev?
Yeah, you're going to do the pop-up concerts, which is great, and I know that I've caught you sometimes when I've driven by and stopped and listened, but are you going to advertise where those pop-ups are so that people can come and listen and enjoy it and maybe then join? Because that's the way people join, is that they see and they see you're having a good time. And
That's exactly what we're hoping will happen. We weren't going to publish a schedule per se. We were going to go with a pop-up anywhere, somewhere around town on Monday nights. As just pointed out, you can hear us, and we were actually going to take advantage of that to get people to come out. If an earlier end time is something that, it's a consideration. I know when we were, when I was in the band as a kid, we practiced till 9:30 or 10, so we're shutting her down a little earlier now. We can't start a lot earlier because a lot of people can't get to practice until 6:45. We've got members coming from Owen Sound, Dornoch, all over the place, so.
Okay.
And it is the summer. The kids, they don't get to sleep till 8 o'clock.
True.
I might just mention that, yes, we were going to publish posters to say Vickers Park.
That's a very good idea, because there's lots of people who'd love to go, but maybe don't want to drive around looking for you.
Not a set schedule that we would publish ahead of time, but just this week we're going to join.
That's a great idea.
And maybe we could make it a kind of a Facebook search if we wanted to actually schedule it and say, visit us on Facebook, and you would know where we're going to be.
Find out where we're playing.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Prize to the first person.
Prize to you for the idea.
Yeah. Any other questions? Rebecca?
Okay, I'm really ecstatic that you guys have come and you're trying to make it more inclusive. It is a lot of fun. I was able to help participate just a tad last year, but as schedules go, it is difficult for everyone all the time. So in saying that, I would like to know, as Bev has mentioned, the scheduling and so on, Facebook, could we also pop that on our municipal website as well? I think that'd be great too, just for more exposure. Curious about your logo. Will that be changing? I've seen the Facebook has kind of morphed into the next phase of Durham Marching Band. And so just curious about the logo. Will that be changing as well, or what are the plans for that?
We debated that a lot.
Okay.
So what we decided to go with is we have the similar logo that we're all kind of used to. We're going to slot in the new words, Durham Marching Band, but also depending on the situation, it's easier if I can take just the elements out of the center and use them separately. They're still recognizable. So my answer is yes and no. Okay. We're going to use the logo as a round item when it's usable as that crest, and the rest of the time it will probably be words with a flag at the end, maybe with a horn and drumsticks beside that.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to seeing everyone out this summer.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions at this time? I may have that. We'll see how this might work out for you. As I said, it doesn't seem like there's a problem with the bylaw, recognizing if you're going to change the name, we should redo the bylaw, and I believe that's exactly what's on the agenda for later in the evening on the bylaws, is to recognize that change. I do have another motion here. It's moved by John A. Bell, seconded by Rob Thompson. Resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Garry hereby authorizes the Durham Marching Band to conduct practices in the summer of 2018 behind the Durham District Community Centre on Monday evenings and on an occasional basis at the Durham Town Hall, Vickers Park, Riverside Park, the Heritage Walkway Bridge, both sides, McGowan Falls, and outside Spruce Ridge Public School, conditional upon approval of the school or the school board, and in private parking lots in Durham with the permission from the owners. Questions? Rebecca?
The only two things I'd like to see us leave out of that are the things that don't belong to us. So outside of the school, that doesn't really belong to us, right? So
No, it said on condition of approval from the school or the school board.
okay,
Yeah.
at all. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other one, you know, the other one's the private parking lots, but with permission of the owners. But it's
That we're
in and
allowing.
around that, I think it gives them that.
So what about our own municipal
Next.
parking lots? Would we also be opening that up? I mean, that's right across from Riverside. I don't know.
No, town hall parking lot. I haven't really asked to do the Legion or any other ones. I don't know.
Okay.
If I may, Rebecca, when we started that, I thought you meant over here.
Oh,
And there's not a lot of population out here.
no. So I'm thinking across from maybe across from the Heritage Walkway Bridge at that municipal parking lot, or Northern Credit Union right there beside that municipal parking lot. Yep, yep.
Yeah, that one would be kind of the Riverside Park. Yeah, I think would be fine. These ones are pretty specific, but if they were in a municipal parking lot, you know, hopefully they wouldn't get disorientated, and if there was any cars, they could get their way around the cars. The red trucks. Okay. Any other questions or comments on the motion on that? Go ahead.
Insurance, we just add them all at their entire membership on our insurance policy.
They carry their own
You have their own insurance.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
for those.
Great.
Right. Okay. Any other questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. All right. Well, thank you very much, Carrie. And as I said, I haven't heard, there was no other questions on the bylaw, so it seems like we will have that introduced. If you want to really check it out, Adam will have this posted up by 8:30 tomorrow morning? Yeah, maybe 9. The video will be there, but you can always ask us how the vote went on that, but it doesn't seem that changing the name will get that bylaw done up
Okay.
later in the evening.
Thank you.
Thank-
Thank you all.
Okay? Thank you, Carrie. Thank Karen, Sharon. Dunk, dunk, dunk. Yep, that's good. No, thanks, Carrie. Okay. That's it from that. We're down then to staff reports, and Carrie's the first one. Staff up. And that would be dealing with, lost you here. First one is dealing with the accounts. I have a motion moved by Bev Cutting, seconded by our Hereby. Resolved that the Director of Finance Treasurer be authorized to pay the accounts presented as voucher number 11, 2018, in the amount of $3,005,849.43 of the Municipality of West Grey. Any questions or comments on any of the accounts? Doug, Councillor Hutchison.
Yeah, just page 42, page 8 on yours, Carrie. We have a used street sweeper for parts for $7,000. I'm just wondering, I thought we sort of we're looking at getting rid of our street sweeper. Does that mean we purchased a used one besides, or what is that, Brent? Maybe you can comment on that.
Actually, Councillor Hutchison, that's exactly what we did. We purchased a used street sweeper. The engine in the machine was still operational, and it's identical to the unit that we currently have. We did investigate looking contracting services and leasing options, and I vaguely remember, I do recall discussing the contracting services. That is an option, but we'll never get it done when we need it done. In other words, like, because you're holding them to a tight, or the timeline that you want to do it.
Right.
Typically, that never seems to work out. I believe that was previously the option that Durham had used years ago, and they got out of it for that very reason, that it wasn't working out when they wanted to get the streets swept. So a modest cost to purchase the older unit, remove the engine and put it in our sweeper, and then we have our sweeper operational. It's a fact that, you know, it's a service that we need to provide for the urban municipalities, Durham, Newstead, Eaton, and it's a cost of doing business to keep our streets clean. And I think
That's fine. I just thought when we had that discussion, that it sounded like we were going the other way, that we were actually going to get out of the business and contract, but since you found one, if it works, that's fine.
We did consider a bunch of options in doing that, and we found this was probably the best way to go.
Okay, that's great, if that works. Thank you.
Okay. John.
Yeah,
Deputy Mayor Bell.
real quick, along with that, Brent, I remember when we did contract service from the county, and it got one year, I know that we did not get our street swept until late June, almost into the 1st of July, and that's what preempted this in order for us to buy our own street sweeper. An opportunity came together to do that. Have you any idea, just off the top of your head, what, if we went back to the county, what it would cost us per year to sweep West Grey?
Back to the county under the contract services
Yes.
that they have?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, you would.
I know the contractor that did the service,
Yes.
the local contractor provided the same rate as what he was charging the county, so we weren't, he extended that service to West Grey.
Okay.
So you will see a bill in here, I believe. I forget the, well, I know the gentleman name, but I don't know what his business name is, but
Yep.
there's a bill in here for some sweeping that we had to incur because our machine went down.
I was approached by 2 people last week that wanted to get caught up because our machine was down and wondered why the streets weren't swept. So
Oh,
I said it was.
we're
it
hoping
was
to get
gonna
back
happen.
out within about another week or two.
Yep. Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions on the accounts? Rebecca?
I did have one. On page 50, there, we're going to pay $1,550 for the Economic Development Durham Business Park sign. And also in some of the notes from the Economic Development meeting, is that sign going to be redone? Or do we have a policy, standardization of signs and so on policy coming? Or is this the final sign that we'll see?
Yeah.
Thank you for the question, Councillor. We are going to be working on a visual identity package. This sign does not fall under that. It's just a bit premature of that work. However, the sign that there's been a lot of work done in consultation with the businesses in that park, and we've got a great final design, easy to read, easy to see, and it'll be installed in the coming weeks.
Is this that sign?
This is that sign. Yes.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. Next one on Kerry's report, is dealing with the Newstead. There was a letter come in from the Newstead Lions Club after their steak and lobster and crab dinner at Newstead and dealing with the chairs. Is there any, I think it would be something in the 2019 budget. We certainly haven't got anything there that there would be considerations. So anything else, Carrie, on that?
Yeah, we'll work with Tom and get an assessment of how many of them are in bad condition, what needs to be replaced immediately, kind of sort of work out a plan and work out costing as well. But it would be looking forward to it being a next year budget item that we'd work at, but trying to get a feel for the condition of the entire, it's a lot of chairs and tables there, so. For the hall, yeah. Or for not the hall, but the arena floor.
Mm-hmm. Doug?
Yeah, I can just add a little bit more information on that because I was at the Newstead Recreation Committee meeting on the 13th, and we talked about that, and I seen that letter at that time, but we hadn't received it at council yet. So just from Tom's discussion, it sounds like they have 135 tables, at which 69 are plastic. This is in the arena side. So there's 66 old wooden tables is what he's saying. So we maybe need to look at that. And also he said that the chairs are, some are wooden, some are plastic, but he does say that they need chairs. So yeah, I agree. It's something we need to look at budgeting. As Carrie mentioned, maybe it's, worthwhile having Tom come in and talk to us about it, or maybe just let us know what the actual inventory is, and then we make a plan on whether we replace them all or at a time, or we gradual do a bit in the next budget. We can see there, the hall has 40 tables apparently, which are plastic, which are the newer ones. Yep. So I think they were throwing around numbers. It looked like it could be as much as $9,000, $10,000 just to replace if you replaced all the tables, and then chairs would be $30 a piece or something roughly. So yeah, it's something that we're going to have to look at in terms of maybe future budget, and hopefully Tom can help us with that.
Okay, thanks, Doug. Rebecca?
When Tom comes to us and lets us know where we're at, what he foresees we need, if that's the route we go, I would also like to know, he said the Ayton chairs and tables are newer, so that's fine. But does he have any idea, or maybe we can think together some way of moving those tables up and down? Because that is a monthly ongoing expense whenever we have rentals, that we have to have a way of getting those tables taken down from the mezzanine. And so we should also have a solution for, we're maybe get the lightweight tables, maybe that's some of the problem, but the next problem that we have to deal with is storing them and getting rid of that monthly payment, let's say, for bringing them down and putting them up and so on.
There's been past a little bit of history on that, is looking at, is there something. When we built the hall itself, there was some talk, going out to the north of the arena, trying to find something that's, on the arena floor level. We just don't have the space or anything. It would require building some type of a storage space outside of the arena. And at the present moment, there just isn't the space to the north, ball diamonds and everything to the, on the south side. Street on the east side, hall on the west side. It's kind of boxed in, and that's, inside there's been some options looked at, Haven't been able to come up with anything as of yet that is any more than a storage space than above the booth area or above the dressing rooms area there. Years ago, the Newstead Arena had a forklift or a lift. I think we replaced it once, Carrie. Yeah, we put some money into the old one that came from Newstead. We replaced it. It lasted about 3 years. It was on a used basis. The problem is when you get into one of those lifts, you've got to have somebody licensed, and the license ends up just about as much as what you see the monthly to keep at least 2 people licensed and upgraded was was about what it is costing us for the rental or that contract to lift. So it has been looked at, and we'll continue if there was some type of an option that you could fold them up and put them in origami. Yep. Put them into a briefcase and stack them up in a corner, but just there's been no place that we've been able to find that accommodates that as of yet. Okay, Doug.
So I guess just a comment about the letter. Are we going to have someone respond to them then that we're looking for next year's budget and we're looking at making a plan with the arena manager for the future?
I would certainly suggest, Carrie, as soon as it comes through your report, you can, in the next bit, get that back to, I believe it come from Dennis Grube and Bob Dick.
Yeah.
That we can respond back to the Newstead. We've taken into consideration it would be a 2019 budgetary recommended to the council of the day for a recommendation on that. Was certainly with work through Tom as to what is required and needed. Yep. Good point, Doug. Okay. All right. Anything else off the top there, Carrie? Is there any questions for Carrie? She may not stay for the bylaws. There's a couple of bylaws on there, one dealing with the tax rates, setting the ratios there. Now that the county's got theirs set, Carrie's got this one set for the August tax notices will be going out. There's no questions on that one. Then there is the expenses change to council remuneration. I think it cost of living.
Yeah, it had been previously discussed some of the changes that we were making, some of the conferencing items and different things, and then just updating the rates since we were touching the bylaws. So, but it was discussed at a previous committee, the whole meeting, with some of those changes in there.
Yeah. And then the next, I think the other one that Carrie's kind of dealing with is the conference seminar policy that's there. If there's any questions. Rebecca.
Harry, my question is on 71, 2018. This is the remuneration for council. Just curious, this says it's going to take it, come into force and take effect February 1st. Is that going to be amended to?
That'll reflect the rates themselves are what we've been paying at. It's just, we did a resolution to add the cost of living. So this increases it. I don't think we've had any special council meetings in the meantime. That was the other big change, was we added the 4-hour limit or the same day back-to-back kind of thing. Special council meetings would apply for that, as opposed to regular council meetings that you get the full day rate no matter what for a regular meeting. I don't think in that time frame that we've had any occurrences, so it should be okay.
And then I guess next one maybe isn't even to Carrie, but it's bylaw 72. This one, we had discussed the conference policy. This one states that it would limit the mayor to 3 conferences. I thought we kept that actually at 2, and we had the discussion around Roma and OGRA splitting off, and there's several more conferences and so on, but I thought we still held that one at 2.
There was no change in that. The mayor, in the previous bylaw, was at 3, councillors were at 2.
At 2, no change
But the
there.
mayor always
Okay.
did have 3, yeah, as per the previous bylaw.
Okay.
Some of the changes were that if it's over 500 kilometers
Right, the
away,
distance, right.
distance
Yep.
about attending like ahead of
The
time.
day ahead, if it's
You know,
more
if
than
it's more than
500,
that
yes, yeah.
distance, and the receipt, the note for the meals, for the day, yeah. Sort of a flat rate as opposed to the other. Those were a couple of the bigger, the main changes, I think, to that. Otherwise, then we discussed whether we wanted to change the number, quantity of conferences, but we left those the same.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, thank you, Carrie. That'll clear up any of that for the upcoming. All right. Nothing else? Then we're down to the clerk's report. And clerk CEO, or is this?
That's me.
Clerk?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so as my reports, we have received 3 quotes for heritage designation report for the former Durham Public Library being a Carnegie building. The CEO and I did review those 3 quotes and are recommending the council accepts the lowest quotes, $4,050, including HST by Wayne Morgan, Heritage Planner, subject to certain provisions of the insurance and WSIB clearances. So I do have a resolution. Looks like there's a mover and a seconder. If there's any questions after, perhaps you want to...
I'll introduce the motion and then we can take some questions. Okay, just a second, Doug. It's moved by John A. Bell, seconded by Rob Thompson. Resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby accepts the quotation in the amount of $4,050, including HST, by Wayne Morgan, Heritage Planner, for the preparation of a heritage designation report pursuant to Section 29 of the Ontario Heritage Act and Regulation 9-06 for the former Durham Public Library, Carnegie Building, subject to the provision of proof of adequate comprehensive and commercial general liability insurance, adding the Municipality of West Grey as an additional insured and submitting a clearance letter issued by WSIB to the satisfaction of the Municipality of West Grey. Any questions? Doug?
Yeah, just when I read through those proposals or the RFPs, noting that the Morgan group, or the gentleman named Morgan, he's from the Toronto area, and I didn't find that his application was as well done as Rutledge, put it that way. Rutledge, the thing I liked about Rutledge is that they are local people. They're from the Blythe area, and they've done assessments in Blythe and Walkerton, and also in Walkerton they've assessed the Carnegie Library, which is similar to what we're asking them to do here. So I just wondered, I know we usually go by the lowest tendered price. The difference is $300 between his and the other one. And I just wondered, can we ask for references, like just because we didn't get a whole lot from Morgan, like maybe you have more information than what's shared here, I don't know, but we didn't get a whole lot from Morgan, being in a lot of their, they say they do all over the province, but there really seems to be a lot of Toronto, Northern Toronto area information. I'm just wondering, can we ask for references, and could we go to someone who has more experience in our area and has done some buildings similar to the one that we have?
Mark or Laura, go ahead.
Through you, Mayor Eccles. We can certainly ask for references. You'll note that they were very competitive in their pricing. Mr. Rutledge was charging to attend council, which was what put him slightly over the top. We can ask for references and bring that back. I do know that all of the submissions came recommended by another heritage planner from a different municipality. So I have confidence in the work that they would do, but references are fine.
Okay. Anything else, Rebecca?
I actually completely agree with what Councillor Hutchison has said there, including the work that's already been done being right up the same alley as the Carnegie building. I mean, maybe that saves some time. Maybe there's some background there that they're privileged to already. Just curious, how long will this take to be completed on any of the 6 weeks from the beginning? So, okay.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Anything, Mark? It's up to council whether we want to go ahead with this or accept them. Have the motion introduced. Doug?
Well, can we ask for, if we're asking for references, we need to delay our decision, do we not?
That would be appropriate, yes.
Yep. So table, ask to table it?
Do a little bit more background work on it.
I'll make a motion on that. Yeah.
Well, it's not about supporting it, but a motion to table would be without debate. But Councillor Hutchison is moving to table motion 188 of 18. Do I have a seconder for that tabling? I'll take Rebecca. Councillor Hergert? So the motion moved by Councillor Hutchison, second by Councillor Hergert, be resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby tables Resolution 188-18. Goes without debate. I'll call the question. All those in favour? Any opposed? That's carried. All right. By tabling that, we're looking at staff bringing back some references and a bit of follow-up from the two closest bidders, I would suggest, would be the two we'd be looking at. Okay? The other one that Mark has is Quinte West Council is looking for has put forward and is looking for support for a motion dealing with legalization of cannabis, and is requesting a 6-month grace period be enacted once the legislation has been given royal assent. I would say, Mark?
I can inform council, I did speak to Chief Martin, the Chief of the West Grey Police Service, and he did recommend support of this resolution.
I can say, coming from Councillor Cutting and myself, we're at the OAPSB annual conference, and that was one of the main topics at the conference was around cannabis and trying to get police services ready. I'm not sure that 6 months is going to help out, but it's not going to be able to get us there. That is for sure. At our zone meeting a week later, I think it was the 5th of June, at Cobble Beach was again a big conversation around cannabis legalization and having the tools in place to be able to acknowledge or certify whether somebody, especially driving, is under the influence and how that's going to be regulated and monitored. Okay? So that's enough of what the report is about. I have a motion moved by Bev Cutting, second by R. Hergert. Resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby supports the resolution of the City of Quinte West Council requesting a 6-month grace period be enacted once cannabis legislation is passed to ensure that the municipal law enforcement officers and the Ontario Provincial Police et al. Are adequately trained to enforce said legislation. And further, that this resolution be circulated to local MPP AMO, and City of Quinte West. Any questions, comments further on the motion? Then I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. All right. Anything else, Mark? That's it. All right. And that moves us down to bylaws. And we have, I think, about 6 bylaws this evening, Mark. So hand out those resolutions to give effect. Starting with 69. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. 69 is a bylaw to provide the adoption of estimates for tax rates for the year 2018-19. I have a motion moved by John A. Bell, seconded by Rob Thompson. Be it resolved that the bylaw number 69, 2018, being a bylaw to provide for the adoption of the estimates of all sums required during the year to strike the tax rates and to provide for penalty and interest in default of payment thereof for the year 2018, repeals bylaw number 52, 2018, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Is there any questions or comments? Doug?
I guess, unfortunately, our treasurer escaped us. Maybe these questions are more for her, but I just wondered if there's any movement on the vacant commercial space changes, and I think it's got to come from the county, as we talked about that before, right? Or is it provincial, county?
Yep, you're right on that.
So I don't know whether there's any, I know there's been this discussion, and some areas are moving on it, so we'll have to wait and see whether anything happens in our area. But I know there's concern out there for vacant commercial space getting a tax cut. So that's what it's all about. The other question I had was on taxes on landfill. I didn't understand. We pay, aren't the landfills West Gray's property, so we're paying tax on that? Yes?
Yep, we do.
And we pay tax on all of our buildings and properties in West Gray? Oh, some, but not all. Okay.
It may be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't believe it's all. Some of them are institutional and are exempt. Landfills falling underneath the MOE and whatnot. The idea is the tax comes in to offset. Yep. And we certainly were there.
So then, do we keep that tax, or we forward that on? Then is that what you're saying?
Part of it,
forward?
obviously, part of it will be kept by West Gray, but some of it goes to the county.
Okay, so same as
it's the same ratio.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I just thought meant we were forwarding some to the provincial because of their regulations or something, but
no.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. Sorry, number 70 is a memorandum of understanding, bylaw between the municipality and the Durham marching band, if this bylaw passes. Motion moved by Bev Cutting, second by R. Herger. Be resolved that bylaw number 70, 2018, being a bylaw to enter into a memorandum of understanding between the corporation of the municipality of West Gray and the Durham marching band, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions or comments on this motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Bylaw number 71 is bylaw dealing with the expenses of council and remuneration. I have a motion moved by Rob Thompson, seconded by Doug Hutchison. Be it resolved that bylaw number 71, 2018, being a bylaw to set remuneration and expenses for members of council and two council members on local boards and or committees of council, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions or comments on this bylaw? Carrie answered a few of them before she left. Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you, Mark. Bylaw number 72 is the conference policy. Bylaw moved by R. Hergut, seconded by Bev Cutting. Be it resolved that bylaw number 72, 2018, being a bylaw to confirm the conference and seminar policy for council and staff of the Municipality of West Grey, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions or comments on this motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Mark. Bylaw number 73 is a bylaw dealing with the lands subdivision. I have a motion moved by Doug Hutchison, seconded by John A. Bell. Be it resolved that bylaw number 73, 2018, being a bylaw designating certain lands described as lots 50, Plan 1097, being PIN 37215-01818, lot 51, Plan 1097, being PIN 37215-0119 LT, both in the Municipality of West Grey and the County of Grey, not to be on a registered plan of subdivision, Jacko Developments, Inc., being now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, be engrossed in the bylaw book. Is there any questions or comments on this one? Doug, Councillor Hutchison.
I just wondered if maybe Mark could just give us some little background on this, like what the changes are here and how this all came about.
Mark?
Certainly, I apologize for that. I did send an earlier email today because I realized I should have explained that in the report. So basically, the new owners of the former Lemco Resort Corporation Plan of Subdivision, now known as the Forest Creek Estates, owned by Jayco. Because of some of the environmental constraints and some of the original lot fabrics or parcels, Lot 51, I believe, or either Lot 50 or 51, one of them can't be developed, so they want to merge those two into one larger lot. And because they're on a registered plan of subdivision, through the Planning Act, they have to go through what's called a deeming bylaw. So this bylaw has to be passed and then registered on title in order for that to facilitate that. And I did note, just to inform council again and the public, that any costs associated with this will be borne by the developer. So our lawyer reviewed and actually amended the proposed deeming bylaw, and then if passed by council, it'll be registered on title at the cost of the owner.
Okay. Yep. Very good. Any other questions? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay, and the last one is the confirming bylaw. Moved by Bev Cutting, second by R. Hergut. Be it resolved that bylaw number 74, 2018, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the June 18th, 2018 council meeting, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions on this motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. That's it for bylaws, Mark. Down to new business. Would that be any new business from any of the directors? Brent, go ahead.
Yes, Your Worship. I have previously circulated an email this evening to council if you have the opportunity to, if you haven't had the opportunity to review it. There's two items that have recently come to light, and unfortunately I wasn't able to put it into a report. First one being Mr. Richard Huber down in Newstead. Has a property approximately right across the road from the fire hall, Newstead Fire Hall. He has contacted the Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority. This has been an ongoing issue. Sorry, I'm backtracking. Ongoing drainage issue at the back of his property. Mew Creek runs through his property at the back. He has contacted Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority and has already contacted local MP Bill Walker. Sorry, had to think there for a second. So Mr. Walker has been notified of his issue. The picture, if you've got reference, you can see it in the bottom left-hand corner. There's been quite a bit of erosion over the years due to the extreme flood events, such as the one that happened about a year ago at this time. Quite a bit of the property, I guess, has eroded. He's seeking restitution from the municipality or Saugeen Valley to help him to protect his property. The only worry I have with this is it's precedent setting, and we have lots of other people that have phoned in asking similar requests. And this is going to be something that we need to tread very lightly on or be careful of what we do, because, as I said, this becomes precedent setting, and I've get numerous calls from people that live on rivers wanting trees removed, and because it's causing water to divert to the bank and washing out. And these are on points that we have no access to. We have to cross private lands and all kinds of things to get to these things. So, as I said, I think we need to tread carefully on what we do, but I'm seeking council's recommendation on how to proceed with this, because I need to let Saugeen Valley know council's position on this.
Comments? Thoughts? John? Deputy Mayor Bell?
Well, real quick, I followed the email trail here. Is there going to be a meeting set up or not?
That is something that I could do. I could offer that if that's the way, rather than just slam the door. That would be probably a good way of just going out to review it. If His Worship and Deputy Mayor Bell wish to join me, along with the Conservation Authority and the landowner, to review it and offer suggestions, or not.
Well, I think we need to do that, and as directors, I'm willing to go, Brent, with you, that's no problem. I think we need the general manager from Saugeen Valley there as one person. And Mr. Eccles, who else would you suggest? Flood control, yes, gentlemen. Is that
Flood
enough?
control would be Gary Senior at the present moment.
Yeah.
Gary is retiring shortly, but he's still there. You know, if he's already reached out, maybe we could reach out and have Mr. Walker come down. Find out, you know, how far this riding does run south. See if he could make it down.
You are correct in your assessment, though, Brent, I will say that, in that there are other areas in the municipality that have the same issue. And I'm sure that everybody knows that water doesn't take precedent over where it moves.
I'm thinking of one just immediately 500 feet up from this building.
I know exactly the one you mean.
That is a lot more eminent than affecting structure than this one.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I will agree with you.
I think it's one of those things that comes in highly, where does public institution get involved on private lands? And at this point in time, this one's a private, you know, if we've got some obstruction on our roads or something like that, I think that's where the municipality comes into, but stepping on, and especially with the amount of rivers and tributaries that we have in West Grey. But I truly, on the Conservation Authority, it's on private lands and it's private, but we should meet with the individual and give a clear description of who's responsible for what. That would be good. Is there a chance, and I think John's right, it's interesting that, you know, the mayor and the deputy mayor were both directors on the authority. Do we want to have the authority set the meeting up, or Brent, are you looking?
I would put out opportunity to find schedules as to what meets everybody's openness or
time frame
scheduling, yeah, and then
Okay.
look at if it's next week or whatever, then
Okay.
or hopefully maybe perhaps this week. Both I ask your worship and Deputy Mayor Bell to send me your schedules, let me know your availability, and I can relay that information.
Sounds good. Okay. That deals with Mr. Huber. I think there was another one with some, we've got another one here, Brent, dealing with Newstead Community Hall and Westario Hydro.
Yes, your worship. This came to light last Friday morning, I believe.
Yeah, about 9:15, 9:16 maybe.
Westario are currently in the village of Newstead replacing the infrastructure on Enoch Street, Barba Street. And as such, and I did not know this, the transformer and pole out in front of the Newstead Community Center back 10 years ago, I've got the minutes of the meeting in front of me, that it was discussed at the time that Westario would, it appears from this meeting that Westario would come to the table and place a pole and a new transformer. And I believe it sounds like West Grey just didn't have the money to proceed with the project at that time. The pole that's currently in existence. So my discovery today is that there's somebody had the fortitude or knowledge back then to place underground duct structures, blank duct structures, leading from the electrical, in front of the electrical panel at the arena to the existing pole. So that tells me there that there wasn't really, somebody thought they're just going to replace the pole where it currently sits. The idea is that the pole was supposed to be moved to the end of Stefana Street, which is approximately 50 feet south of the existing, where the existing pole currently sits. And the idea was, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, your worship, that they were trying to improve aesthetics in front of the building to remove that hydro pole. Right now, there's an opportunity for West Grey to jump on board with this, to have because Westario are offering a free pole and new transformer. But the transformer currently right now, what we currently have in the system is called a Delta system. And if anybody's trying to understand what the Delta system is, it's an old antiquated system that the casing around the current wires that run from the pole to the electrical bank, the casing, the steel casing, acts as the ground. So there's no really true ground in the system. So Electrical Safety Authority, Ontario Hydro, Indian Westario are trying to phase out that type of service because it's dangerous. Things can become live. And there was a case in point when we upgraded the Durham well number 2. That was our water lines could become live, is what I was told. So anyways, we fixed that problem. The real issue with this is I received an updated cost, and it's just a budget number from Dura Services, and I point out to option number 2 and 4. Currently right now there's a 600 amp service feeding the building. That was to run an arena floor, ice. the current load or the maximum load that West Stereo has observed over many times is the maximum load in that building is 115 amps. We're far from reaching that capacity unless that arena becomes an ice facility, which I don't think that's what this council is ever going to consider because, or future councils, because we already have 2 ice pads and there's adequate use or, you know, I can't see us having to run up or operate another 3rd arena. So there's an opportunity to reduce that amp down to a 400 amp service. He's recommending 400 amp at a much reduced cost, and the cost from the current pole. So if the current pole went in, I'm going to give you the high and the low. So if the pole went in as per current condition or current location, the price is approximately $23,000 to upgrade wire to the panel and do all the right things. The cost, if the pole was to be moved to the end of where it was originally or discussed 10 years ago or so, the cost is about, sorry, did I say it? Cost is about $30,000. And there's still some other fees. There's a tree that has to come down. There's some boring that has to be done to extend the conduit to the new, where the new pole would sit. There's just some, there's a bit of unseen costs here to move that pole to a different location. I leave it to council, but I mean, we have a number of issues in West Grey besides, we have bridges and many other things to consider, and to move a pole just for aesthetics, you know, again, I leave it up to council, but the current blank utilities are there. It'd be very easy just to strand new wire. It goes down underground. The duct structure's there. We're not talking about any more digging or anything like that. It's the least costly to upgrade the system to current standards. So that, again, moving the pole to a different location, that's costly, but you're not gaining anything other than the fact of aesthetics. But you're not gaining anything because if you put the pole where it's currently at or you move it, you're just upgrading the service. But you're keeping it cheaper by keeping it in the current location. That west area will complete this work. Again, there's another problem, scheduling. A lot of these contractors are all busy. West Aerial there right now, I've tried several times, 3 times today to call West Aerial. Nobody returned my call to find out if they could leave the pole and come back later and still give us the same offer. I haven't heard back from them, so I'm sorry I can't answer that. But anyways, those are the, I hope I didn't confuse anybody. I hope that's clear, but there's extra costs associated with moving the pole.
Bev, then Doug. Bev?
Could we maybe leave it with Brent to get the returned call from West Stereo to find out a little bit more and bring it back to committee of the whole? I think that's probably, we need some information as to whether they would still stand by their offer if it was delayed, and just, you know, where they're going to sit. So.
Okay, Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think my question really applies because I was thinking in terms of the generators that they use nowadays, or transformers they use on the ground, but you'd have to have underground wiring for that, would you not?
That's a more expensive option.
Is that?
Brent, use your mic, please.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's option number 5,
Okay.
which is more expensive yet.
Okay, I didn't see that there.
It's really good.
I'm sorry, it's not included, but it was included
okay.
in the email that I received from
Right.
the engineer from West Stereo.
How much more expensive?
He didn't,
Yeah.
he just said it was more
Because that way
costly.
you could remove the pole, but it would sit on the ground, right? Basically.
Correct.
Yeah.
Problem, if I could interject, the problem with that becomes once you get one of those boxes on the ground, now you've got to put a wire around it as well, too. So are you really, huh? Yeah, yeah, like fencing of some sort or another.
They don't do that in Marshall Heights. They're sitting right in the ground, right open, just the box, right on the ground. Yeah.
Well,
So I think because of the
well, maybe-
casing, I asked that question to someone in the hydro business, and they said it's all encased. You can't get into it.
No? No, maybe that's possible. I don't know.
Would be maybe too pricey. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but that pole would be removed. There'd be a ground vault there, but it'd be directional drill again under the road to the closest hydro pole because there'd be power coming down from the pole under the street to the transformer box.
To the box.
So again, it's a much more expensive option.
Yeah. Okay. John?
Yeah, getting back to the wiring though, was this was not updated at the time of the building of the hall, was it? So this wiring is old and antiquated? With an old system?
That is correct.
With an old system that if it fails, like it's not going to be replaceable and we're going to have to buy a new one?
That is correct.
And right now, they will give us a pole and give us a transformer.
Yes. Based on, and again, I wanted to confirm with him, but I'm reading the literature, and I had our electrician, I forwarded him the email, and he read it the same way I did. So I believe because they're in the area, they're upgrading their services, that pole, they have a standard, only meets 14% rigidity, and I think it has to be 60% to pass a test or whatever they do. The wood, it's an old pole.
So it needs to be, and I don't know, Brent, this might be one of those cases, might warrant a drive down to Newstead to talk to somebody in person if you can't get anybody on the phone, but that's up to you.
Again, I'm trying to go to the top of the people that I need to get the answers from.
Yeah.
But I did in fact go down today because I had to get my head around as to what was going on there, but.
As Councillor Thompson just said, you're trying to go to the top of the pole.
No pun intended.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Doug?
Just one last quick question. It shows 3 transformers. I don't know if you need 3 because it's 3-phase, or like maybe they would get down to 1 transformer, which wouldn't look so cumbersome.
I think because of the fact that of the known capacities or the energy that has been consumed in the building, I definitely think it's going to be downsized, maybe to only 1. I don't know. Technology is different now than it was back years ago, and they might be able to replace 3 with 1. Again, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
If I can get them to hold off, I agree with Councillor Cutting. I can bring back more information, a more definitive cost, possibly on Monday, next Monday, I believe.
Yeah, next Monday we have committee of the whole.
But the email I received, they're wanting they want to know what to do right away. They're down there, and I think once they leave, is what they say, it's going to cost more, although they're not that far away.
They take the trucks home at night. It's not like they're left there.
I'm just.
Yeah. The Delta system that's there, they're not, as you said, electric safety, they're not replacing those or not endorsing replacement of that. At some point, you've got to replace it. You can use it as long as it's there, but if anything never did happen to it, it's got to be replaced by this new system. And the wiring is different into the building, and there's some changes at the, not at the panel. I was going to say fuse panel, but that doesn't happen anymore either, fuses. The wiring's got to be changed, so, but it's trying to coordinate, I guess is what you're saying is the biggest problem here. And do you look at ground mount or still with pole mount? Pole mount is West Area would do that right now. there's other complications with going ground mount.
I mean, the other option is to wait and budget for this appropriately, and whether or not we can get Westario agreeable to replace the pole later on. Like I said, the trades are all busy. I don't even think, even if we got the goal, that I could get somebody to go in there right away to do it. It's got to be all scheduled, because it's a 3-day knockout. The power out of that arena is going to be out for 3 days. And I talked to Tom, I said, we have to schedule that because you can't book anything in those 3 days, because that's got to be scheduled way out. So it's going to be a lot of considerations going to have to be taken on scheduling all that.
It's not just the arena, because I believe the ball diamond lights work off of that system as well too. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not either, Your Worship.
I don't know.
It would make sense that they would.
Yeah. But just another little, drop in the bucket to stir it up just a little bit more to make it confused. But there's, I know that, I think ball's played, it's at least twice a week that there's ball there and the lights are on. John?
But on the other side of that, I don't think we want to leave this any longer than what we need to, Brent, just for the simple fact, I guess, if it happens to go down when there's 2 wedding receptions on a weekend, or happens to go down during the Newstead Craft Fair or one of their suppers of the many nights that they use that, I don't think we need that either. So I think that we have to move ahead on this.
Just, yep, as an added bit of information, and I apologize, I'm sorry that I have to bring this good news to you, but there are other 2 arenas that are on the same system. They're both on the Delta system. It's something that we're going to have to look at and plan for upgrading of those in the future. And just let you know that those facilities are also on the same type. So the difference being is we got a transformer or a generator that we can plug into Durham. We don't really have that down in the Northern Bay Arena. But
Bev?
I don't really understand why it's up to us to upgrade their system, which is antiquated.
No, it's not their system. They go to the pole, and everything from the pole to our building is ours.
So you're saying the transformer
Yep.
is out of date?
And they are putting on a new one.
Free?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's what you wanted to clarify, that the pole was going to be moved for free and the transformer was going to be installed?
That's correct.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
I'm not paying to upgrade hydro.
No.
Stereos, poles, transformers. Well, we are.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Debt reduction at least,
But no, at the pole and what's on the pole, the gear that's there, that's going to be their cost. But it's the rewiring. Very similar as what Brent said we did at well number 2. Was it 2 here in Durham? Yeah. When we did those
upgrades. It was an old Delta
upgrades.
system that was completely upgraded, including all the electrical inside the pump house has been all upgraded to current day standards. If not current, actually beyond, because we went and added a sub panel for the generator for a future addition of the generator. So all that work is done.
On that one. We'll probably do it at this point in time for the Newstead. When that rewiring was done, it won't, when you're doing it, it's not that big of a deal. But add on.
Can I ask, is the, and I don't know this, but is something to consider, is the Newstead Arena considered a warming center?
Not as much the arena, but the community hall certainly is in that emergency. Yeah.
I'm not sure if that facility can run on a generator. I don't know. I forgot to ask them if it's been wired up to receive, if a generator could power that system. It's just something to consider, because this can morph into a lot bigger if one of the important things of emergencies is having shelter for like I said, in the event of an emergency, warming station or shelter, in case the power happens to go out in town and people have no heat.
Huh? Go ahead, John.
Yeah, we would just want it for the hall, not the arena. Right? Like, we're not gonna try to heat the arena.
I guess not, no, because there's no heat in there.
No, exactly.
Oh, there is heat in there.
There is?
There's 4 propane heaters in there.
Oh.
Absolutely. There's just not a whole lot of insulation in there.
Be very
You can get it up to,
very
you can get it up to 55 degrees, you know, on a good hot day. Yeah. Pickleball. It's a well-used facility, but irregardless of what we do, I think I'm getting the feeling of council we recognize that this is a time to upgrade the facility. We just need to be able to coordinate the time.
Yeah.
Can you proceed? I'm giving you direction to proceed with that, and the timing with whether it's that electrical contractor or any other one. We know that they're all busy. Talked to you this afternoon about it. They're all busy. We couldn't coordinate somebody by the end of this week anyways to take on this. So take it and see what you can come up with and come back on next Monday, and knowing, you know, what our budgetary impact, what the emergency dollars we may need to be able to complete this program. I think that, and I'll say to council, we've talked to Carrie, Brent, and I. There is a capital facilities reserve that would have some funds in there to cover off a project, an emergency project, and that's what it's there for at this point in time. I just wish we had a little better working relationship with West Ontario, and we could have. We really didn't know they were changing the poles until a week and 4 or 5 days ago when they put the poles out there.
No, I apologize. I knew they were changing the poles. I did not know we had a Delta system at the
arena
at
as well.
the community center. So that's caught me off guard.
Yeah. Okay. Any other good news, Brent? You know, like your idea of good news here is just is scaring me.
Calcium chloride's done.
Oh, very good. All right, we'll have no dust then. Let's work diligently on this so we don't end up with it being an emergency. It's something we can handle right at the present moment. Get us the details and give us a better update next Monday at Committee of the Whole. Okay? Anything else? Bev?
Yeah, I just wanted to let council know and the public that the West Grey Parks Committee has been working in conjunction with McLean's Home Hardware, the owner Doug McLean, for their, across Canada, Home Hardware has a 2018 tree planting program. And we got an email tonight saying, congratulations, I'm happy to inform you that your tree plant application has been selected as one of the 36 locations in the 2018 Home Hardware tree planting schedule. And further budget details in your tree plant package will be sent to stores in the coming weeks. Your Tree Canada representative will be in touch with to discuss the elements of the tree planting event, including tree plant size, number of sizes, and number of trees and preferred tree species. And what we submitted was, I think, 8 large trees. They cover the planting costs, they cover everything, and not all we have to do, but we have to do sort of an event around the tree planting, thanking Home Hardware for being part of their commemorative program. They send people up, they give us the check, they do the whole, commemorative type program. So we were very fortunate to be one of 36 to be selected. They were quite impressed. We had a conference call with them at our last meeting, and they were quite impressed with the, or 2 meetings ago, I guess, quite impressed with the scope of what we do. We sent them pictures and how we do it, and it was done by volunteers and this kind of stuff. So it was nice to see that we actually got the program. we have several spots. We haven't decided for sure yet.
Okay, well, that's good news. Keep us updated, Bev, when you get the program and the project ready, and Mr. McLean will be working, good to work with a good community businessman like Mr. McLean, so.
It will take place in September, where we're not going to rush it through the summer. It's better to plant trees September, maybe even October, and do it for a sort of a fall schedule. But the Home Hardware main office people come up, and they're part of that program to actually do the planting and have people there, et cetera. So we will have to coordinate all that with their community coordinator. Yeah. Good.
Okay, good news. All right. Any other new business? Addendums, notice of motion, Mark. I don't believe, I'm not aware of any. There was none indicated. There's no closed session. Question period. Anybody in the audience have any questions? Mr. Miller? Bob? Want to use the microphone, or you?
I'll use the microphone, thank you. Actually, I have two questions.
Okay, we'll turn the mic on and you can give both of them.
First one is this Main Street funding you're getting, 47,000, whatever.
48,000.
48,000.
1,000 here or there.
I was wondering, do we still have bills to pay for this Heritage Bridge?
Yes. Yes, I think there is still some.
Well, that's Main Street. Maybe you could use the money there. And then you could save the other money for roads and bridges out someplace, wherever.
Further on out?
Yeah.
I would have to really look into it. I'm not certain that the bridge itself, I know, does not qualify on the Main Street beautification. There are some restrictions around that funding. But now that we have a new provincial government, maybe those will be loosened up.
And
it was a Liberal.
Well, I just thought maybe, save the money, there's money there. The other one was this library thing. And maybe Deputy Mayor John Bill might know a little bit about this too. We have a picture here of an area photograph. We got red lines on there. Once upon a time, there was a very little small distance between the north side of the library and the property line.
You are correct, sir.
Yes.
Did that ever get fixed up?
Yes, it did, sir.
So there's more room there now?
There is, Bob, yes.
Yep.
To the north side, not as much at the back.
Not as much at the back, so some of the back got cut off. And
that's right. There was a land swap done.
Yeah, I knew that was in the process, but it seemed to kind of dragged out for a spell.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
We can use years in that.
Years, yeah.
I think it was years, yeah.
Oh, it was. Yeah.
But otherwise, without that, it's all kinds of possibilities without that being done, but it's done. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Any other questions from any of the members in the audience? Very good. Seeing none, Municipal Act notices, Mark. Have none? Thank you. Then Ms. Hergert moves that we adjourn. Do we have a seconder? Mr. Hutchison, all in favor? We stand adjourned. Thank you.